ask you this. If Shohei Ohtani never threw another inning, would you feel the same way about this argument? Because that's what we're basing this on. I mean, Babe Ruth, by the way, 94 career wins, 94 and 46.
No, then I don't think there's any way if he's strictly a DH, you could ever put a DH.
Babe was in the field.
Yeah, Babe, and I don't know what type of right fielder he was, but there's no way I could put him ahead of Babe Ruth, ahead of Willie Mays, ahead of, Ted Williams. You can start naming guys now that you got to play. There's defense and offense, and if you're only offense, then it's hard for me to include you into the conversation as far as greatest players of all time. But if he pitches, then you got to ask yourself, okay, what's worth more? I'm taking Willie Mays as an example because Willie Mays was one of the greatest players ever, and he was the greatest center fielder ever. Like, he was he was incredible offensively and defensively. So if Ohtani pitches, and let's say he's a dominant pitcher for another 7 years, which would be a lot.
I don't know if he catch Babe and wins that. Babe's at 94 wins. Ohtani's career wins 38 and 19.
Yeah, he's got a ways to go.
By the way, the Babe threw 1,200 career innings.
But what would equate what Willie was able to do in center field, like pitching wise? Like, that's hard to. It's
once every 5. Nobody.
It's hard to quantify. Like, okay, he had 7 really good years as a pitcher, versus Willie Mays, who had damn near 20 years as an elite outfielder. I don't know when he started tailing off as an outfielder, but you're talking about a guy who patrolled center field and was the best ever at it, arguably. I don't know how to quantify those two. And that's if Ohtani reaches those milestones in terms of home runs and average, OPS, all that kind of stuff. Like, right now, you could say in this 4 or 5 year run, because he has pitched, it's one of the greatest, if not the greatest 5 year run in the history of baseball.
Sure.
But when we're talking greatest players of all time, that's 10, 15, maybe even 20 years of production you're looking at. Obviously, he's not there yet. That's why I threw that out there. Are we watching the greatest ball player of all time? Do you think he can even get there? What numbers would he have to get as a pitcher? And how much is a pitcher worth compared to a everyday fielder that plays 150 games?
Well, that's my point. Is nobody
the guy that starts 30.
What we're saying in our list is you're going like Willie Mays and all that, and who that would be, and the greatest player of all time. And maybe it is Mays, maybe it's Ruth because of the home runs and the numbers pitching. But nobody ever considers just a pitcher the greatest baseball player of all time.
No,
it's more about it's so unique and it's so out of this world that nobody's ever done it at this rate. Even Babe Ruth. When he did it, it was home runs were even so new that he went from 11 to 29 and led the league in both seasons. And then he said it was too exhausting. He had also, by the way, thrown 1,200 innings nearly at that point in his career.
Did he really?
Yeah, he had 3 years where he threw like 300 or more innings. He's throwing like every other day.
That's crazy.
That's insane, dude. And he's probably like crushing hot dogs and beers or whatever. Just one. That's even more impressive, maybe, than what Ohtani's doing.